My name is Wilson.
And I'm Billy.
We are potatoes passionate about movies and TV shows, from trending blockbusters to artsy indie cinemas. And this is Potato Couching. Hello, my beautiful, beautiful people of the internet. Welcome to our fourth episode, I believe. Yeah, this is our fourth episode. So today, I'm once again joined by my good friend Billy here, and we are going to be talking about Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, no way home. Okay, just to keep it short, we might probably briefly review like the first two films before this, which is Homecoming and Far From Home. But that's just like a brief like review, just to catch up on like this current movie that we're gonna be actually reviewing. So yeah, Spider-Man, No Way Home. It came out in this year. I think around Christmas time, but I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure which date is it, because it depends on where you live, where you're staying in like around the world. But it came out in Australia pretty early. Or is it early or late? I'm not sure, but it came out around Christmas time.
It's probably later. Let's look it up.
Yeah, so I mean, it came out around this month, pretty much. It's directed by the same director who did the first two, Jon Watts. Written by
Chris McKenna and Eric Sommers.
Starring, obviously, fan favorite Tom Holland, our beloved British fella, our British newcomer Tom Holland. Then our also beloved Disney. No, I was about to say Disney princess, but Disney X-star Zendaya.
This is owned by the Great Mouse.
well, technically she's still in Disney because now she's in Marvel.
You know, it was so surreal for me to see Zendaya in another movie, because a week before watching Spider-Man, right, I just watched Dune, and we made a podcast episode about it. Yeah. So yeah, it's very weird. It's just like, I know actors, they make many different movies, right, and they're in different movies and all, but to have to see them in a completely different setting, different tone, character, a week later, it's a bit jarring.
Mm-hmm. And some other people, Alfred Molina.
It's Molina, not Molina.
Molina. I'm sorry if I butcher your name, Sir Alfred Molina. Yeah. Then also Willem Dafoe as Green Goblin. Let's see what else. Jamie Foxx as Electro. He's back in the game again.
Don't forget the other two less known actors. Wait, actually, I forgot their name.
Is it the Filipino dude, like Ned?
The Filipino dude? No. I'm not talking about not that guy. I'm talking about the other two villains. Remember? There's Sandman and also the Lizard.
Technically, they're not really in the film. You know, they're not.
No, they are.
No. I mean, they are in the film, but not like the actual.
The actors are there. Are actually part of the film, but for some reason they opted to. Okay, spoiler. They actually opted to use stock footage from the Bruce movie when it comes to showing their faces.
Yeah,
even though weird. They still did the voiceover.
They did the voiceover, but I honestly, I would love to see the like the actual actor like appear on screen again. But I think there's the thing of it, like, okay, one is the pandemic, second is schedule, you know, because everybody has 24 hours. So yeah.
I think I read somewhere, right, they wanted to get who's the guy who plays Phantom, not Tom Hardy, but the one from Spider-Man 3.
Oh really?
Yeah.
What's the Topher Grace. Oh, okay.
Yeah, they did.
Hey, wait, didn't he like actually like he's actually very interested to come back or something?
Yeah, and also he's trolling the internet about it.
Smart man right there. Even obviously you have Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield back as Peter Parkers again, and yes, I think everybody has already know that Andrew Garfield is trolling the internet actually pretty convincingly well. to the point that I just started to believe that maybe he might not be in the film, which is actually still possible. You know, because
He's the werewolf.
huh?
He's the werewolf.
What do you mean by the werewolf?
Oh, actually, have you seen the meme about that? So basically, he went into many interviews, and for some reason, every time he denies his involvement in the movie, is that he mentioned about as if they're playing a game of werewolf, and then he said that everyone pointed him as a werewolf. And the more he denies it, the more people say he's the werewolf, and apparently he is a werewolf. Yeah, bit of a weird online drama.
You can't deny it's a very good marketing tactic, right? It gets more butts in the theaters. Am I wrong?
Oh yes.
Am I wrong? Yeah.
Gotta warm all those seats, which is actually pretty crazy if you think about it, right? Because the movie already reached $1 billion in box office, even though in the middle. Yeah, even though in the middle of the pandemic, sure, a restriction is getting lighter.
No, even
So-
with restrictions, it's actually very freaking impressive, you know.
Exactly, that's
very
crazy,
impressive.
right? Imagine if there's no restriction.
Wait, I think I read somewhere like it passed like Infinity War. Did it? No.
See about that
Did it?
all time. Not quite. Wait, actually, hang on. I don't think the list has been updated yet. Not quite yet. Not quite yet. Infinity War clocked in at Infinity War or Endgame? Because Infinity War clocked in at $2 billion, while Endgame clocked in at $2.8 billion. No Way Home is still clocking in at $1 billion. You know, just a simple $1 billion.
All right. Let's just get to the review directly. So, Billy, what did you think about Spidey 3? Tom Holland Spidey 3.
Well, might as well call it Spider-Man 3, right?
Yeah, Spider-Man 3. Tom Holland's Holland Spider-Man 3. There you go.
Spider-Man 3 times 3 equals to 9. But wait, actually, there's still 8 Spider-Man movies out so far, unless you count Into the Spider-Verse. Okay, I'm just joking.
It's an animated movie.
I really like the movie.
It's an animated movie. It doesn't count. I'm a normie.
Okay, but anyway, I gotta say, right, the movie is pretty bonker. Although, like, how to put this, like, we know the movie is basically going to be this giant crossover. So yes, Mr. Maguire and Garfield are here. We got all 3 Spider-Mans on screen. So yeah, I do think that it's just a huge giant fan service.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta say, it's done very well. Yeah, everyone was very hyped, and I was so glad that I got the chance to watch it in a theater. You hyping up with the crowd as well. It's like the moment we see Mr. Garfield and Mr. Maguire popping out of that portal, all the people in the theater go like, "Ah! I'm losing my head!
Wait.
Crazy!
Wait.
Yeah!
Wait, really? Like, okay, when did you see this movie? Like opening night or something?
No. It wasn't opening night. When was it? I think a week ago. Yeah. Around 2 weeks ago, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, but still, like, I gotta say, I have a feeling, right? Those people who went into the theater, most of them are probably tried their best to not get spoiled. So the hype was real, and I'm so glad I didn't get into online drama or whatsoever.
I know more or less like the very like surface level stuff, like which villain are gonna appear and like which heroes are going to be there, blah blah blah. But that's not really it's not like a big deal, honestly, because I'll tell you this, right? So for some reason, the Spider-Man franchise, I don't know why, it's like they have like a doom kind of like there's like a curse to it, and I mean by curses. So when it gets when they start to like cram in like more than 2 villains in one movie, right? That's when the movie just freaking falls apart. So yeah, the problem is with Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man 3. Okay, it did make money, a lot of money, but it got canceled because I think it didn't make enough money. it's a similar scenario with Garfield's Amazing Spider-Man 2, which oh boy, I have a lot to say about that. that movie is actually bad. That is actually a bad movie. Well,
Sam Raimi was planning to make a fourth movie.
yeah, he was planning to make a fourth movie with the lizard as like the main villain. Actually, yeah, is it the lizard or the vulture? But anyway, I mean like one of at least one of those ones. And then they actually have Dr. Connors as like a reoccurring character throughout the series, and I think that's like a build up for his like ultimate demise in a way. But it doesn't look like they're going to do that. But from the sketches and the concept arts, that's gonna happen. But obviously it didn't. So I think I'm thankful for that, because I'll tell you this: as much as I don't really like the first Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield's Amazing Spider-Man, the first one, the villain, I find that one is a bit refreshing, I would say.
What do you mean by refreshing though? What's so special about the
I'll
lizard?
tell you this. So it's because like the concept is like because like it's literally a scientist, right? Again, like there's so many scientists in like Spider-Man.
Dr. Octavius. And don't forget Mr. Defoe himself.
Norman
Like, you know, he's
Osborn.
somewhat of a scientist himself.
Yes. I'll tell you this, like, because his arc is more like he lost his arm, right? And that's why it's actually a bit difficult for him to perform like everyday tasks, and he does miss like his arm like a lot. I mean, that's like one of the main plot of the movie. Also, it's like he's like nostalgic about like his arm, which basically means like he's kind of being nostalgic like with his past. That's why he would do anything that he can to be able to relive that, despite having to face the ultimate consequences. I like that. Okay, so that concept is very good. It's just the way it was executed. That's the only problem.
I think that's the interesting thing about the new Spider-Man, right? No Way Home, is that like you said earlier, the other Spider-Man movie failed because there's too many villains. But in No Way Home, all the villains are already established. They already had their character development. We know who they are, and then so we can just jump into the story.
Technically, it's like cheating, but not really, because like Marvel have done that with Infinity War, right? It's like they already expect you to watch those because because like okay, here's the thing. At least for Infinity War, they're all Marvel characters. Like those are characters that Marvel Studios built by themselves, But this is like you need to watch Sony's Spider-Mans.
I can't imagine that Sony will stop giving Spider-Man back to Marvel, because look how successful Marvel has been doing with Spider-Man IPs. That'll be silly if Sony just decided like, like you've been making too much money, my friend, so I'll stop lending you this IP.
It's actually kind of funny. So like now Sony is kind of like jumping on Marvel's like bandwagon. So, and not only that, but they're also like take this one, Venom, take Morbius, take everything we have.
Wait, hang on. Just to make things clear, right? Because I'm still a bit confused with this whole shared universe. Is Amazing Spider-Man and Venom are connected?
Nope.
Or are they?
Nope.
I think they're in the separate universe.
They're
right?
completely separate universes. Very separate. It is weird. It is weird. I did saw some like posts online that people like trying to edit like Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man like meeting like Tom Hardy's Venom, which is very weird. I think that's kind of like one of the things that gets people confused if they're not like up to date with these kind of stuffs. So I just want to make it clear. Yeah. Let's jump into my opinion. I think.
You think your opinion matters?
Yes, my opinion is far superior from yours, because I think Holland, Alfred Molina, Willem Dafoe, they're very good.
Jamie Foxx.
Nah, not really. Not much Jamie Foxx. No, not really. I mean, I wish I could give him like the chance, but I don't know what happened to him after Collateral. To be honest with you, I don't know what the fuck happened to him, but whatever. So Holland is good for the stuff that he has to work with, like expected. I actually like his portrayal since Civil War.
Come on, since when Holland ever failed being Peter Parker?
Nah, never. 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 I'm
Exactly.
sorry.
That's
I'm sorry. As much as I'm a bit of a cynical douchebag, but I will admit he's very, very good. And he's also a very, very charming boy. But I have more hots towards Benedict Cumberbatch instead, who is Doctor Strange in this film. And he actually has like a pretty significant role in this film, which I didn't actually expect.
Significant role, right? Is that Multiverse of Madness, the upcoming Doctor Strange movie, is supposed to come out before No Way Home, but they had to because of problem with production, right? Because thank you COVID, they had to rewrite the movie so No Way Home happens before Multiverse of Madness. Bit of trivia.
But anyway, yeah, I mean, like expected. Obviously, the Raimi villains are amazing. You know, they just ham it up all the way in.
You're not giving credit to the webverse villains, huh?
Fuck the Rebels villains. To be alright, to be okay. I just have something to say about that in the stuff that I don't like. Okay, which we'll get into eventually. But obviously, Defoe is a very yeah, when he's playing these kind of roles, he's very charismatic also, and
he has such a good range.
he has crazy range actually. He has crazy range because I've seen his other films also. Like wow,
He did his own stunts.
really?
Yeah,
Wow. Okay.
a 65-year-old dude did his own stunts. Like, have you seen the first fight between Holland and Dafoe?
No,
It's
no,
like
no
he
way,
just
no
did
way.
wrestling move. Remember,
way.
it's like he did a suplex and then he dive bomb Spider-Man.
Oh my,
Remember that
oh my
fight?
God.
And all right, and don't forget about their de-aging technology because it's done so well, right?
I actually didn't notice it, to be honest with you. Like that's how good it is. I actually thought like, oh, these guys actually take care of themselves very, very well. Like damn.
I feel like the movie industry at this point perfected the aging technique to the point that it's practically they can churn it out anytime for any kind of movie and it looks seamless.
All right, to be fair here, the thing, the first two films, right, with this version of Peter Parker, the consequences and the stakes he's been thrown at are not as big as this, I would say.
Yes, but I gotta say, the whole movie started as an idiot plot, but it's more as an excuse just to get to the meat of the story.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, he actually has to deal with really, really big consequences, as in like
absolutely, I really
actually life-changing consequences. You know, because guess what? People actually die here permanently, and it actually creates some personal dilemma and grief and unassurance, blah blah blah. Like so much emotion going on for like Peter Parker. The thing is, in the first two films, right? I don't really like Peter Parker. I like the movie that he's in. I just don't really like the Peter Parker character because he's been given the Stark suit from Tony, especially like in the first film. Same thing with the second film too, which actually kind of ruins like the Spider-Man mythos a little bit, because the beauty of Peter Parker is that he's an introvert. He's pretty much like the reader of like the comics. But the thing is, like in this one, he has like all these resources from like the Avengers, right? So in a way, because he's also like young and also naive, right? So he makes lots of really terrible decisions, really terrible decisions that. Okay, in the first two, it didn't backfire a lot, but in this one, they really backfired, like really bad. So I like this one a lot because of that. Because he's irresponsible and spoiled, and he has to learn that fact that he is an irresponsible and spoiled brat. He needs to like, okay, maybe I'm taking things for granted, and now I have to pay the price. And he actually did pay the price.
I suppose that's the overarching theme of the first two movies, isn't it? Because the first one, he went over his head. He didn't follow what Tony said to him, right? Remember, like, oh, don't chase the villain, let me handle it, and then like he actually made bigger mess out of it. Technically, I think the second one have a huge consequence as well, though, right? Because remember, like, Mysterio almost destroyed London.
It was all an illusion, actually. It was all an illusion.
Yeah, it was an illusion, but the destruction was real, and he did plan to kill some civilians just to, up the illusion, like make it look real.
I want to talk about the villains in this trilogy. Vulture is really good. His motivation makes sense. Yes, I understand why he needs to do what he's doing, but it still doesn't excuse the fact that he's just a kind of a terrible person towards an innocent boy. Mysterio actually is also a pretty interesting villain because he's also egotistical in his own way. I like the fact that they all share some similarities with Tony Stark, actually. Their ego, how much they like to exploit other people just for their own benefit and things like that. But then what makes Tony Stark different is that he actually grows from that to become someone who is very compassionate and actually selfless, right? But these people don't. So I like that contrast.
Yeah, I completely agree with your points about Mysterio and Vulture. Yeah, I kind of wish that we see Raimi's Venom in this movie. Yeah, I think that'll be interesting one.
Honestly, I don't want to put even more than this because I think this is even for me. This is already too much. I'm surprised it's not terrible. That's the thing.
The funny thing is, right? After watching this movie and then comparing it to the old Raimi first fight, I just realized one thing. Holy crap! Like today's fight choreography is so much better. I think the ones that are more memorable, because I myself really like hand-to-hand fight. I was really interested watching his fight with Green Goblin because it really showcased their power and how to creatively use them. And then you get to see Green Goblin in his prime, I should say. I mean, I know his prime didn't last long, but you get to see him actually, having a superhuman power. Yeah, because he get to destroy concrete as if it's nothing. Electro, he looks as a character, he's much better in this movie compared to.
Oh yeah. It's a big upgrade. You're rock bottom. You only can go up. There's nothing below there.
Why the hell do we barely touch much about the interactions between the Spider-Man?
Okay, I'm gonna start talking about the stuff that I don't really like. Surprise, because
Well, you don't like the Spider-Man?
Okay. I do it. This film, right? I don't think is amazing. No, I don't think it's terrible.
Careful with your words, my friend, because the internet will judge us.
Well, you like the movie a lot, so you can save my ass.
There has to be a balance in the force.
Spider-Man, save me! I'm fine. Okay, so all right, let's just talk about the Peters. So here's the thing: these Peters, I'm glad that they're back. Right? I give them mad props that they're like, hey, yeah, I'm happy to reprise my role. But that would apply more towards Andrew Garfield compared to Tobey Maguire, surprisingly. Because I think Tobey Maguire looks like he doesn't really want to be there for some reason, at least from my perspective. I mean, but Andrew Garfield was like, okay, I have one chance for this, and I'm gonna make the most out of it.
I mean, that's practically the Maguire's default face. Like he's always looks like yeah, I'm mildly interested in this. Is that what his face screams at most of the time?
No, I mean in the Raimi films, it just comes out as like because he's socially awkward, right?
Yeah.
That's the way he acts. But I think this is like I think he's around his 30s here. I'm pretty sure.
You mean like his Peter Parker is in his 30s?
I'm betting this one at least is around his 30s. The thing is about I like Tobey Maguire as like an actor, as like a person, but I don't know what happened in this film. He looks a bit like checked out. maybe it has to do with this character. Maybe I might be wrong.
Maybe it has something to do with this back. Oh, my back, my back.
That's also another thing that I'll get through that soon, which is like there's so many callbacks to like all these past franchise Spider-Man movies that I'm pretty sure not everybody have seen yet.
Having to memorize every tidbits in MCU is already bad enough. Try watching two different other universe, and heck, there's one new universe that's in the progress.
Maybe it's because of the screen time, I would say.
Of the screen time. It's also because of the way the script is written, right? Because the thing is, you probably notice how MCU when it comes to character moments, right? They generally tend to gravitate towards comedy, right? Because it's more lighthearted and all.
That's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing about like the Marvel formula. Like they really have to freaking stop because it's so outdated at this point. If you remember watching like Infinity War and like the more of those serious movies from Marvel, like Winter Soldier. Yes, they have comedic timing, but it's only in the place where it's necessary to have that because the movie is already very serious. But I think in this case, yes, you're allowed to have that. But I think here, even in a more lighthearted movie like this, I think they do a little bit too much. I would say. Well, okay, compared to Infinity War. Okay, but I mean, for a Spider-Man movie, I would say I think the comedy for this one, I think is like the way that it was timed and placed. It's a little bit off compared to the first two films from Holland. But yeah, that's my opinion. But hey, I like Garfield Spider-Man.
Here's my opinion about all Peter Parker, right? So I gotta say, Tobey Maguire has the best Peter Parker, right? Followed by, and then Andrew Garfield has the best Spider-Man. But I gotta say, Tom Holland is the best of them all. Just because, well, technically he's not the best as either character. He is the most balanced and well-liked.
I agree. Yeah. I agree.
And sure, well, the comedy. Okay, you might not agree with how the comedy is written, but I gotta say, at the very least, like the payoff is very good. You know, because like every single payoff.
Not really.
Like I mean, come on, Andrew Garfield managed to save MJ this time, so he earned himself a redemption. At least for him, right? Because he's just like, is in a like state of mental mess.
That's not really a comedic.
No, it's not comedic. Sorry. I'm just I'm already jumping to another topic.
Yeah, about the callbacks. This is the thing that I think they do it a little bit too much. It's so much that it actually starts to distracts from like the actual plot, which I think is actually already pretty interesting on its own. So because it's like okay, so once they bring back everybody, that's when Marvel's like, okay, hey guys, remember this one? Remember that one? Remember this one? That one? And it's starting to be like really, really distracting because I actually get 90% of it. But that's also the problem. I want to enjoy this story, but my nostalgic brain is like, hey, you remember this one? No, it's good, right? It's like at the end of the film, honestly, I actually have a headache.
Having to keep track of all the callbacks.
Yeah, that's why it gets really exhausting like, at the end because like they kind of starting to rely on that to the point that it's like, guys, just focus on this plot. It's already very good. Like, why would you need to go for like, hey, remember about Green Goblin? Oh, look, he said I'm
somewhat of a scientist myself.
I'm somewhat of a scientist myself, and then it's like, oh, look at that, Green Goblin. He's in the alley looking at like his goblin mask. Remember that one? It's oh god. And then oh man.
But here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. I gotta say that this kind of moment, they're not intrusive in the sense that.
Oh, they are intrusive.
Nah. Even if you don't watch it, I think it's fine. You know, it's just like, do you know this is like practically mirroring Spider-Man's 2 scene, so not too bad, really.
No. Because I have friends actually who are not like fans of this, and they said that I don't know what the heck is going on like most of the time, and I think it's because of that. It's so much callbacks, and it's kind of out of context.
Yeah, although I do agree that sometimes people don't understand because, for example, my partner who I think she watched Spider-Man 1, and 2, and I don't know if she watched Spider-Man 3. She never watched any of the Amazing Spider-Man, and only watched Holland 1 and 2.
Okay.
And then even she said that, like, I see this scene is like sort of a callback to something, but I don't get it. But it doesn't detract her from the overall enjoyment.
Okay, maybe because I was using my brain. I think a little bit too much for this one, but it really hurts like the actual like pacing and the narrative itself. So okay, back to the villains again, right? Okay, so here's the thing. I think with the redemption stuff, I would say this. I think it would be smart for them to actually give redemption to the villains who don't actually have their fair chance in their movies, like the Lizard or Electro or
What do you mean fair chance?
the webverse villains like Lizard and Electro. Yeah. So because the thing is, like in those movies, their characters are kind of underdeveloped, even though I like the concepts. So I think if like Jon Watts and like his writing team are able to like come up with like a pretty decent like redemption arc for these people. So like you have like the Lizard, right? 𝓟𝓸𝓽𝓪𝓽𝓪. He's dealing with like disability, like because he lost his arm, but he wants to grow it back. But obviously it backfired because it's a lizard DNA that take over his human body. And I think you can do something like a redemption arc of him like trying to accept that okay, maybe being disabled wouldn't be as bad as I hoped it would, to be, and I can try to live with this disability. Or someone like Electro, right? He's like so obsessed with like all these power and like all these like privileges that he has like as like this super villain. So maybe you can do something like he likes this like getting power like so much, like it gives him like so much dopamine and like stuff. So eventually, I wish in the movie some way like I think I mean it's kind of dumb, but I think it would kind of work in this film. So it's like all the farmers like, hey guys, wait, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna combine all the electricity in New York and then to electro, so you can get overpower and then you just like explode or something, something like that. So it's like all the power that he wants, but he eventually cannot control it. So that's like a consequence too. Or if you want to do more like a wholesome route, maybe Electro starts to realize that, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't be doing this because I'm starting to hurt people. Because he used to be like an everyday man himself, and then
he's a victim of the society.
We live in the society. But anyway, he used to be like a low end scientist somewhere in Oscorp industry or something. Maybe do something like that. I think would redeem his character much better, given these characters that don't have the fair chance that they deserve, not to the characters who already have the chance. You get what I mean? Because I don't see the point of like redeeming again for Doc Ock, because he already has like that kind of story already done pretty good in his movie. Same thing with the Green Goblin. They're already in like one of the best Spider-Man movies like ever. So like there's no reason for you to work on them like again. But these are maybe you can, right?
Okay, but here's the thing about like the redemption, right? I do agree that the redemption is a bit silly in the sense that, oh yeah, you'll redeem if you don't have power because power corrupts, says the superhero with web slinging power. Yeah, sort of like that, right? Basically, like for example, Electro got overhit in his head. He's like, I want power, and then the way for you to redeem him, take away his power. Dr. Connor, the lizard, right? He wants to turn the city into a lizard. So what do you do with him? Turn him back to human. So honestly, I don't really see what's so redeemable about that. Because like he got to stay alive in his original movie. Part of me was just wondering, like, rather than bringing the lizard, I wonder what happened if they bring in another villain instead. And Sandman himself, I still don't get it though. Like, he got his redemption.
Sandman is the most out of place in the movie. I don't know why is he there.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what are you doing, Why are you fighting? Why? What's the motivation? I thought you just want to go back to your daughter or something. Can't you just just let Peter press the box? Like, oh, I just want to go home.
Sandman actually, I would say is probably one of the most underrated villains from like any of the Spider-Man franchise, because it's just a guy who just got into an accident, and then I mean, yes, he did something terrible, yes, but what he really wants to do.
But a man has to provide for his family.
Well, not really provide. He just wants to see his daughter. He's a crook. but you can't deny that he's deep down he's still a really good person. You know, it's just that he just dealt with like really shitty cards like in his life.
Yeah, I do agree. So honestly, right? Other than Doc Ock, even so, I think it's a bit rushed.
Oh, it's so rushed. It's so rushed.
Well, I suppose maybe other than like Harry, the new Goblin from Spider-Man 3, right? Technically, it's probably the only villain that just that actually become good rather than stay neutral. Because Sandman just like whoosh away, let him live his life, and then I forgot what happened to the web first villain. They practically irredeemable. Either they die or just stay rotting in prison. So yeah, I think technically the only two villains that ever got redeemed is in Raimi first. So you got Doc Ock and New Goblin. That's it. So I kind of understand. Like, okay, sure, it's a bit rushed, but I'm okay with it.
I would actually be more happy if they go for the route of like maybe two of them can be redeemed, but not the other ones. Which I think it will create a much more interesting story instead of like everybody can be redeemed with a serum.
I really like how Electro is just like all cool after he got depowered, like, oh yeah, and then just make that Black Spider-Man joke.
Oh fuck, the fucking Black Spider-Man joke! It's so out of nowhere. Like I don't even think it's funny at all. Honestly, like it's kind of cringe. It's like, why would you say that? It's also a bit racist too. Like, why would the Spider-Man need to be black?
Have you watched Into the Spider
No,
first?
no. It's not because that's like, why would you want a black Spider-Man, bro?
Okay. Here's the thing. I did read a bit this little trivia, right? Did you know that before they cast Andrew Garfield in Amazing Spider-Man, there's actually a huge online petition to get Denzel Washington to be casted as Spider-Man?
No, that has to be a troll. That has to be.
Sorry. It's not Denzel Washington. It's like I think it's a younger actor, but I'm not joking. It's a real thing.
What the? Oh my!
So it's not only a callback. It's not only a callback to Miles Morales, right? But the fact that this line is delivered to Andrew Garfield is also technically is not a callback at all. I mean, of course, it's directed more to Miles Morales, but if you really dig through it, it just so happened. I have a feeling it's probably coincidence, and then even if they knew about it, like, it still fits. Why not, right?
Because like in the Spider-Verse movie, right? The reason why I like that a lot, even though yes, it's like it has the multiverse concept and every like a lot of Peter Parkers, like all the Spider-Mans like coming like together into like this one universe to like aid Miles Morales. But that's the thing. These technically, first thing is in some ways like in this narrative they're original characters. There's only a few callbacks like the Raimi Spider-Man, but that's about it because like after that it's a completely original narrative that has a 3 act structure like a normal like a normal story, and then it ends beautifully. Like that's all. Like it's more than enough. I don't want to have like I have some of a scientist myself or like some other stupid. Oh yeah, the scene with like amazing with great power and great responsibility. I was rolling my eyes with that. Oh.
It's a great line.
Okay, here's the thing. The reason why that is a great line in the Raimi movies is because Uncle Ben is a person that Peter Parker looks up to, right? When he died, so when he said that line, it makes sense. Not only it makes sense, but it actually also it fits with the whole theme, the whole narrative of Spider-Man 1. Peter is being irresponsible with his powers, but eventually he's like, okay, maybe I have to man up and take responsibility. But here it's still, I mean, it's the kind of makes sense. But I would say this. I would prefer a slightly different line. I'd say like maybe something like, with all of the privileges that you have, you actually need to take like man up and be an adult. Something like that. Like some like do some sort of variation. So it would sound more natural, especially with Aunt May's character on her own, because this is not. I don't really think this is something Aunt May, even this version Aunt May would say.
Okay, here's the thing about using a different wording, right? It's just like you make it sound like a high school student who would try to paraphrase the source where he's citing the quote from. just to make it sound like it's his own word, just paraphrasing. That's all there is to it. So I think it's a bit pointless for you, for the writer to just change the exact words but still retain the same meaning. So I feel like, yeah, you might as well say it, right? And technically, for me at least, I think it makes sense because technically it was May's idea to try to rehabilitate all these villains. Remember? Because Peter was on board with the idea of taking all these villains back to their universe. And then May, remember when Green Goblin was in the shelter where May was working? So I think that because of that build up, I think it makes sense.
Not really power actually. It's just more like opportunity, or maybe it's like I don't know, like, okay, it's one thing that I don't like, that I like being here. It's another thing also that Emma is trying to help out, like, Norman Osborn, right? Because she felt bad. So that's not really about power. It's more like compassion. Like you want to help out people. Yeah, it's like deliver some sort of line that has something to do with compassion, which I think it would make sense would make way more sense here than compared to power. Yeah, 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 yeah.
In social science, right? The term power, it means the force or the abilities of a person to influence another person in one way or another. For example, in, say, trying to convince someone or try to improve or destroy their livelihood. So,
Okay.
like, other than going into the exact terminology, right? I don't think it really matters too much. It's okay, I guess. I think if they change the line, it'll just become like a student paraphrasing.
But I think I have a bigger issue with, like, Anne, even as like the character. I really, really feel bad for Marisa Tomei. Honestly, I really, really do feel bad because they write her as like this cool, hot aunt that all the middle-aged men wants to get on with her. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. It's
yeah.
it's so unfortunate because the thing is here. I think, okay, even with that line that I don't really like, if they're able to, with the first two movies, they're able to make her into like this really, really caring, loving, which she is, but they don't show enough. So if they're able to show enough of that, and maybe even more, and get Peter to actually have, like, someone to look up to, not only Tony Stark, he also look up to Aunt May as like a really caring single mom like figure. So when she dies in this movie, it would have just around the same powerful, okay, yeah, powerful, well, no pun intended, powerful impact compared to Uncle Ben's death in Tobey Maguire's movie or Andrew Garfield's movie. I mean, his more with like Gwen Stacy, but you get my point. That's right, because yeah, people die in like this kind of narrative. If you was doing very well in like the previous iterations, here it would be really, really impactful. And I would even say, if they were to fix that right, I might even give this movie like just one more star, just a little one more star, because like Unmay and Uncle Ben have like a really, really big key role for Peter Parker in his life.
I don't know why, but suddenly I'm having flashback to Amazing Spider-Man 2, where they introduce Peter Parker's parents out of nowhere, and then apparently like there's some of a super secret agent spy thingy or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I remember when I was watching in theaters, I was like, why am I watching Jason Bourne all of a sudden? And then I tried to I actually checked my ticket. It was like, and then I go outside. I was like, okay, this is the movie. Alright, never mind. And then when I'm walking back in and I see like Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, like with his backside with like the spider logo, it's like, okay, yeah, I'm in the movie now. Okay, good. But yeah, I feel bad for Marisa Tomei, and I also really wish they would do this character justice.
But I gotta say, right, it's just flow-on effect of her getting casted because technically she didn't have a big role, right? She's just like a cameo or like, oh hey, this is what Aunt May looks like in MCU, only for a short scene in Civil War, right?
Yeah. You can see like Tony is kind of like doing his like charmy, Tony Stark thing to kind of like impress.
The usual Tony, yeah.
Also, another thing with like Peter and MJ's chemistry, I don't see them as lovers at all. I would say as really good friends. Something like in Shang-Chi, right? Like the main Asian dude and his like female sidekick. Though, like, so they're being really really good friends.
Like how you didn't even bother saying their name.
Because I haven't seen it yet, so I don't really know like what's the actual names. Yeah. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
but I do know that they are really really good best friends.
Wait, hang on. Is it basically going to end like Pacific Rim?
Wait. You mean like they actually eventually kiss? Is it?
No, they didn't.
Oh
That's
yeah,
the
yeah.
thing. That's
Oh
the
yeah,
whole
yeah, yeah,
twist.
yeah,
They
yeah.
didn't kiss. They're just like, hey, there's
So
a copter
okay. So
here.
here's the thing. So
Yeah.
I think, right, if they don't actually go for that cliche, which they didn't, because Peter MJ, well, what's her actual name here? Like Mary Jo, Michelle Jones.
Michelle Jones. Michelle
Michelle
Jones Watson.
Jones. If
Yeah.
if
It's not Mary Jane.
yeah, it's not Mary Jane. That's why I'm asking. But anyway, so Peter and MJ in this version, if they don't actually get together, I'm actually would be even happier, honestly. So like Peter, MJ, and Ned, you got like these three like this trio like going on like crazy adventures like together, which will be probably more interesting than whatever actually happens now, because the thing is, from the first film, Peter Parker has a crush on a different person, right? Remember about that? It was
Oh
a different
yeah,
person.
and then apparently that girl happened to be
Yes,
Vulture's
and that
daughter,
girl
right?
eventually have to leave New York, and then
Yeah.
for some reason in the second film, I was expecting to have like to see like Peter and MJ like maybe like have some tease going on, like it's like a, so maybe they're like they're
But they
like
had
pretty
to.
good friends, at some point. And then maybe they might start to develop some feelings to one another. But no, it's just like, it's like, hey, Nat, I want to talk to MJ. I really like her. Like, what? it's like so out of nowhere.
I
Like, what?
mean,
I thought you like this other person. It's like, am I missing like a whole movie? It's like somewhere. Like, what is going on?
for me it's pretty natural because the whole shtick about Spider-Man 2 is practically Mysterio. And besides, what's your love like? Is like in high school. Like sometimes don't you just like get being interested in a girl for no good reason?
Okay.
It's just all silent.
No, the thing is that even okay. Here's the thing. Usually, I don't know for you, yeah, but I think from my experience, like if I like somebody, which okay, I wouldn't want to talk about like the person's name here.
Well, nah, that's just a rhetorical,
But the
right?
thing is like here, like at least for me, like if I like somebody, I would the way it's like I at least I have some sort of logic to it. Like, why do I actually am interested with this person? It's like, okay, oh, he's a nice person. She likes, her family like a lot. She cares for them. She's very compassionate to like her duty, her work, blah blah blah. Okay. And also like we also get along pretty well, blah blah blah. So yeah, in that way, with that logic, it makes sense for me to have some interest to her, right? But this is like, oh yeah, Ned, I want to give MJ, I'm so nervous. And that's like literally like one of the first few lines that came out of his mouth in Spider-Man 2.
I don't remember that much.
Yeah, because I literally just seen that movie like hours ago. So that's like still fresh in my mind.
Oh right,
So,
right.
yeah, so I was like,
You did.
what? Like, well, okay, this is like side plot thing, so it's not big. It's not a big deal. But let me check the time. Did we go overboard?
Yes, we went
Shoot.
overboard. We went overboard so much that probably we go around the Earth many times by now.
You mean like circling around the multiverse countless times? But that's that could be another film actually we can talk about, like Primer.
Oh man, Primer. I'm still so confused with all that. What's that about? I mean, like, yeah, I get the general gist of the timeline and all, but there are so many subtle details that I still can't understand. What's going on?
All right, any last thoughts about Spider-Man? No Way Home.
You, dear listener, should should watch the movie, and you should enjoy it in the best way you can, and be a good neighbor. Do not spoil the movie.
You mean a good,
to others.
friendly neighborhood Spider-Man?
Wait, hang on. Did you stay until after the end credit?
I did.
Because the cinema that I went to, right? It does actually show a giant ass poster that say like, "Be a good friendly neighbor and do not spoil Spider-Man No Way Home."
Actually, no, I don't remember that. No. No, I don't think.
You didn't stay long enough. Wait, oh, did you leave before Multiverse of Madness
No. I
trailer
stay all the
finished?
way through, but maybe I might miss. I'm just like seeing it, just like past my brain somehow, because I legit
Okay,
got like a headache during like when the credits roll, so maybe that's why.
but yeah, um, I gotta say, this is a good movie, but I do agree that there are a bit of imperfection here and there, and I wish that things could be like clarified a little bit or when another direction. But I'm happy with what we have.
I'm gonna give it around a 6 out of 5, a six out of 10. Honestly.
Holy crap, that's so low. I mean, even I will give it like 9 or 8.5.
Okay, fine. All right, that's your score then. But honestly, six is already a pretty good score. Honestly, I won't lie. The good outweighs the bad slightly a little bit, but um, some of the issues I have are quite distracting. Maybe I might recommend, maybe not. But okay, if I know that the person really likes Spider-Man, I would definitely want him or her to see it. But if they're like casual viewer, I might have to think about it again, you know. But yeah, because I was watching with like some friends, right, from from my church. So I do know if you would actually like legit say that it's a bad movie. It's like, oh, okay, interesting. And they're casual viewers too. So
Well, you can tell the casual viewer to instead of spending money watching Spider-Man, they can watch Dune instead while it's still up and running.
oh.
Ah! Ah!
Oh god. Okay, let's wrap it up. Yeah, I think the next episode will be Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, which will be posted right after that.
What a weird movie.
Yeah, that will be another one that we're gonna be talking about later. So see you guys for the next episode, and please take care of yourselves during these times. You know, if the government says you can go out, then you can go out. But if the government says don't go out, don't go to the cinemas and be an ass. You know, be a good friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Bye.
Thank you for listening to Two Potatoes Rambling from whichever platform you're listening on. Make sure to subscribe or follow us for more updates. Have a good starty day.